Ребята, шоу «Дело на миллион» в Майами. Сегодня я встречаюсь на яхте своего близкого товарища Роберта Сютона. Он нам помогает связать политику с бизнес-инвестициями. Я думаю, он будет полезен всем нам сейчас и в будущем. Увидимся на яхте. Thanks for seeing me here.
All good?
Oh, great.
I'm glad you came.
Oh, thank you so much. All right, Robert, this is fantastic. I'm just enjoying my time here. So let me give you a little background of why we're shooting, why you're here, and you can bounce off that. So the show is for investors who are not located primarily in the US, so pretty much non-US residents, how they can invest in private markets in the US, how you can tie politics with the private business. And maybe you can start by explaining about yourself, what are you doing today, and how that can be helpful for a potential investor who's located outside of the US.
Well, Pasha, as you know, we all woke up in the greatest country that was ever brought forth in the history.
Cheers to that.
And, you know, it's a safe place to invest. As you can tell, it's beautiful here. There are many opportunities. We have enterprise zones going on with Dr. Ben Carson, Senator Tim Scott. So there's so much opportunity here to invest in the United States. And we have opportunities that most countries don't even think of. Even with what's going on with the election, we still have a stable economy. We have a stable political environment here. And there's nowhere else where you can put your money except for the United States and expect a positive return with full disclosure on what's going on.
So you're saying that the full disclosure is the kind of the key element here where any investor all over the world can feel safe pretty much investing in the U.S. economy.
Well, even the president of the Federal Reserve Bank, they're now opening up opportunities where even they are looking into investing in the communities, into the small businesses, into creating and job growth and job creation, business creation. So you have the Federal Reserve, you have Dr. Ben Carson, Senator Tim Scott, with their enterprise zones. So they are always looking to bring fresh money, fresh ideas, fresh innovation to the United States. And, you know, we have a 20 trillion GDP, 350 qualified workers. You know, not to brag, but the American innovation and the American workers, you can't beat them. I mean, you're looking right now, this is what capitalism and investment built.
Right.
So it's a safe haven, a safe investment.
You mentioned Federal Reserve, all right? And this is for our viewers, Federal Reserve is the body that controls pretty much the rate of the money and pretty much can influence the way the economy goes. When you're saying Federal Reserve, do we actually need someone so high up in politics who can help us in private markets to invest?
Pasha, what you have with me, there's people that I like and I trust. And there's 3 women that I deal with investments, Belinda, Melinda, and Angela, that I know that work with the private funding, the public funding, and the main thing is there's a loyalty and trust factor. And when you have people like the president of the Federal Reserve wanting to look into investment in the United States, it's from the top down. Right. You can't get any safer than that.
So how do you choose people whom you work with?
These are people that I've known for 10 or 20 years. And I know that they represent millionaires and billionaires. And I know that there's a strong trust factor there. So it's not like you're just going to come in and talk to somebody you don't know. You are going to have a relationship with these people because you're going to know who they are. And therefore that makes your life easier, that makes the investor's life easier, whether they're putting it into a public fund or a private factor. And there again, these enterprise zones that Dr. Ben Carson and Senator Tim Scott have put into effect, that's a wonderful way to put money into the United States, into the job market, into the business creation. And it's there again, it's safe.
Can you give us maybe an example of a deal you've been a part of recently or a long time ago, where you can kind of connected the politics with the business, and what was the outcome?
Well, there's a young lady right now, she's running for Congress. Right. And she was able to open up her business using money with the enterprise zones. Mm-hmm. So there's an example right there.
Can you say how big was the deal?
It was fairly big. It was fairly big. And so she has her business up and running now, and it's a wonderful thing. And she's also running for Congress. So these enterprise zones are working. I mean, I truly enjoy going into businesses, helping them keep their doors open, keep their employees paid, and helping them build relationships with other businesses so they can work together. And there again, it's a wonderful thing to do. And the United States, with capitalism, entrepreneurship, and innovation, we have it. We have it.
Okay, so let's dive into nitty-gritty, into details. Let's say someone who is not the residents of the United States want to invest in something here, either private fund or private deal. What's your take on that? Like how this person can safely and legally wire the money from there, here, and choose the right investment for his criteria, or her criteria.
Right. I did actually do some notes in case you asked certain questions.
Perfect, perfect. Well, I appreciate that.
There is a website that if somebody wants to invest in the United States, they can go to. It's selectusa.gov. Mm-hmm. And therefore you can research the opportunities at selectusa.gov, or they can obviously call you and you can help them get through it. But you know, you have to keep in mind there's only one country that has a dream named after it, and it's the American dream. And it is truly strong, and it is alive. I know we're going through a little bit of a turmoil with the election and that kind of stuff, but that'll all go by after the election.
Yeah.
That's always,
Have we ever had an election without turmoil?
Well, there's a thing that's out there, and your viewers can Google it. It's called the Misery Index. And whoever is the opposing team always tries to drive up the misery index to out the current elected president. So it's there.
I hear you.
And I was talking to one of your associates, and he was saying that American politics is more volatile than anywhere else, any other country.
That is true, but our viewer might not know that. So do you mind to elaborate just a little bit on that? We're not into politics. However, politics and investments usually tied together, and you have to deal with both of them simultaneously. So just a little bit elaborate on that.
Well, you know, if everything's going well, the sitting president is pretty much guaranteed to be elected. So the opponents will drive up the misery of the citizens. And there's a thing, you can Google it, it's called the Misery Index.
Interesting. Never heard of it.
And, you know, if you're not familiar with that, it's there. Right. But like I said, you know, go back down the list. You have the Federal Reserve looking into investing in communities to help businesses. You have Dr. Ben Carson, Senator Tim Scott with their innovation zones. This country is open for business, and selectusa.gov is a wonderful place to start.
All right. I think we got like pretty much the politics sector covered, and how that can influence in a good way on the investment side. Can you tell us about yourself a little bit, so people have some sort of a background? What you did before? How did you fell into this politic game, and where are you now?
Well, you know, I will give you this disclaimer. I actually dislike the politics of politics. Okay. But what I do like is, like, there's a high school that I work with. When the students from that high school went to the White House, mm-hmm. They were escorted and taken very good care of by an executive officer of the president while they were up there. Mm-hmm. Two of my students found themselves on the wrong side of the law, and I was able to help them with their sentencing. A friend of mine was targeted because he was supportive of our president, and I was able to do fundraisers for him. And so I enjoy what I am able to do and the way I'm able to help people because of the political arena. And did that answer your question?
Partially, yes. You know, there's a saying like it really matters who you know, but more importantly, it matters who knows you. Can you give us a little taste of who knows you?
Well, I'm a former chairman of 2 congressional districts. I'm a former chairman of the largest REC in the state of Florida. I'm the current chairman of the Republican Liberty Caucus. I'm the Southeast Area Director. My team selects candidates for endorsement. And the team that I've worked with for 10 years now, Roger and Celeste, we still go and help candidates throughout the state. This country is so unique that even someone like me can get pictures and photos and have dinner with the president, the senators, the congressmen, and so forth.
And we've witnessed that on your Facebook page.
I think that's why you called me.
Yeah. Besides other factors. So I guess my next question, you kind of answered this already, but usually people with potential to invest big, they like exclusivity. And you already partially answered this question by saying who knows you and what kind of a deal you can steer towards. Can you tell more about the exclusivity of the deals that you might be exposed or expose our potential investors?
Well, because of the arena that I work in, the business arena, the political arena, I get to meet some very, very wealthy individuals. And there's times when they take me aside and they're not happy with where their investments are going. They're not happy with the return on the investment. And I give them a few people to have a conversation with. And like I told you, there's 3 that I trust. And yes, it's Melinda, Belinda, and Angela. And obviously they represent millionaires and billionaires and capital development. And exclusivity and privacy is number 1 with them.
Can they take any more clients though?
Yes, they can.
All right. Only if they come through you or me.
Correct.
They've been highly recommended.
Yes, it's usually qualified. I have a friend of mine, and there again, I don't want to use names, but the entire family is looking to move their assets. And I will tell you this, one of their homes that they're selling right now is worth over $30 million. And very wealthy family.
That's an expensive home, I guess.
And they are going to be working with one of those 3 individuals.
Robert, any particular advice today that's from your perspective or your position and your experience you can give to potential people who would like to invest into US?
Well, I would say, basic research, that's selectusa.gov, so that can give them a basic understanding. But with that said, you have these innovation zones. Do the research, but find someone that you have loyalty with and an understanding on what you're trying to get done. And there again, if somebody's going to invest, there's always the financial reports, there's always the boring stuff. Find something that you're passionate about, that you'd like to see breathe life into, whether it's building or banking or the film industry. Find something that you're passionate about and use your investment in there, because not only are you getting your return on your investment, but you're bringing something to life that you appreciate.
Any particular industry you actually interested in?
Well, in Florida, we have a strong banking industry, we have a strong building industry, we have a strong tourism industry. I'd like to see Florida become number 1 in the film industry again.
Film industry, interesting. Why is that?
It creates so many jobs. Everybody thinks, you watch a movie, the actor, the actress, but behind the scenes is the writer, the producer, the script supervisor, the crew, the camera crew, the caterers.
We have the whole crew right here.
So, that is an industry that can bring so much economic growth to the state of Florida. And we've recently lost it to Georgia, and we're working to bring it back in.
What, like tax credits, advantages?
Well, I'm one of those people, I'm not so much, I know there's a return on the investment with the tax credits, but if you're good, you don't need the government help. If you're a good producer, if you're a good actor, if you're a good writer, you're not counting on the government to build your business. You've aligned yourself with the proper producers. You've aligned yourself with the proper promoters. And all of a sudden, you have a product that people want.
That's a dangerous path. You know, I call it an engineer utopia. You're so in love with your product, what you've built, what you invented, and you think everybody's going to like it just because it's the best product out there. Bring it back to you. It's not enough to create the best product out there.
You got to have the marketer. You got to have the distribution set up.
Yeah, you got to.
You got to remember, I have friends like even the boat that we're on now.
Right.
You know, obviously I have some very good friends, very loyal,
Blessed.
very blessed. Dragos came over here, $1,200-$1,300 in his pocket.
From Romania.
From Romania, and
Look at him now.
roughly 20 years later.
Hold on, is he running for the office?
Well, I'm not going to announce, but 2022, he's exploratory.
We're going to vote for him.
For Congress. But I mean, the American dream is still alive. And it's not just for Americans. It's for people that want to come here and they see the opportunity. I mean, look at this.
That's gorgeous, man.
You know, the opportunity is here. The investment's here. And it's a safe haven for investments. I mean, do your research, obviously, but align yourself with people that are loyal to you, not loyal to themselves.
Just like a little disclaimer, safe haven can be interpreted in two different ways.
Okay, we're a stable economic environment.
So yeah, safe haven is usually tax advantage zones.
Okay, got it.
Yeah, just wanted to clarify to our viewers.
We are a stable economic environment.
All right. You know what? Another question that I have. I know you have a crystal ball, right? And you are able to see 5 years ahead. That's the limit of the crystal ball. So 5 years ahead, what do you think the investment would be? A great investment, good investment, bad investment from your crystal ball?
Well, something, and it may be my bias, but what I would love to see is more of that made in the USA label. I'd like to see manufacturing brought back to the United States. I'd like to see better working relationships with the workers, the investors, and the business owners. And technology is something that we all have to be on top of. And food distribution. This country has allowed itself to be beat up for so many years. And now we're back to where made in USA is something that should be good.
When you say allow themselves to beat up, what does that mean?
With the trades and so forth,
Okay, so
and there again, we outsourced a lot of our production. We've outsourced a lot of our manufacturing, and I'd like to see a lot of the money that's offshore being brought back in. And when you start looking for that made in the USA label, that's going to be a good investment, especially for the next 4 to 5 years.
It's usually more expensive. That's why we have the free economic trade. So.
And I'm all for free trade, but it has to be fair free trade.
Fair free trade. Who puts the definition of the fair here?
Well, that's dealing with tariffs.
Okay.
And that's making sure that workers that are manufacturing outside of the United States are treated fairly. The American people are very giving. They're willing to pay a little bit more if they see the Made in the USA label.
That's true. So, considering the current economic environment, the trade wars with China, again, your crystal ball, looking into that, how is it going to end?
History will repeat itself and America will come out on top.
I wouldn't expect anything else.
It's not from me, I'm sure. Well, I'm going to tell you something. I enjoy bringing people together. And,
and you do it successfully.
I consider you a friend, and whatever I can do to help
Thank you so much.
Or, the people I'll open the doors. I mean, I run a company called Resource Brokerage and Economic Development. And
you're on the board of the directors there, right?
Yeah, and I get to work with, I have friends that do $1 billion a year in business. And, you think about that one, $1 billion a year. They started selling 2 cars out of their mom and dad's driveway when they were little kids. Okay.
That's the American dream, right?
And now they're doing over $1 billion a year. And these are friends of mine. And they treat me, they treat my friends very, very well. And that's the working relationship that I like to build. So if it's not a fit, it's not a fit. Maybe next time.
Absolutely. It's not fit for everybody. And I think you can but by talking right now for like half an hour or so, you kind of established your, I want to say, credibility through the deals that you've done, through the people you know, and I really enjoy talking to you because first and foremost, you're a patriot. I can tell that, and I like that so much because I came to this country when I was already grown-up man, and for me, the patriotism, it's unique, and I've been all over the world. I kind of traveled from Middle East to Russia, New Zealand, Canada, here. And for me, this concept of patriotism is kind of a little bit foreign. It's hard to relate, but when I talk to you, it comes easy and natural.
I've been very, very blessed. You know, and I got to tell you one funny story. A friend of mine, another very wealthy individual, had a transportation company, and he was just too busy to run it. So one day, outside my house, the limousines, the credit card machines, the whole bit, right? He says, Bobby, you got to run this for me. And I'm like, what do I know? So we get it up and running. I do some adjusting, and I change some of the marketing and so forth. And it's doing fine. The economy tightens up a little bit. So he says, well, what are we going to do now? I said, we're going to make some more adjustments, and we're going to sell it. Because sometimes not
Sell
being...
the company.
Yep.
Okay.
So we redid it, got a good price for it, because sometimes not being the business owner is the best investment also.
All right. Can you elaborate on this more? Because, well, exiting, either selling the company, taking IPO, usually investors involved. Either it's a venture fund for a smaller company, private funds for bigger companies. Can you tell more about the exit that you did?
Well, there again, it's learning to track the trends. You know, and no one has a crystal ball. But there are
except
some...
you, for 5 years
yeah,
only.
except for me. There's things that, you know, make sure you're in touch with what's going on. And, you know, there again, if you have the right people with you and you have a loyal team that tells you the hard facts, the hard truth, then maybe this isn't the time to hold this. They have to know when to sell it. And sometimes you can sell it, take the loss, and then bring it back in also. But they have to know when to hold it, when to release it, when to bring it back in.
Yeah,
And there's nothing easy. There's nothing easy. You know, everybody's going to have losses. Everybody's going to have a little bit of turmoil. But the main thing is to put together a good team that has your best interests.
I actually want to talk to you about losses since you mentioned it. No, it's a fact that in order to succeed, you need to lose many times. You need to fail many times. How tolerable the American economy to the failures?
America is such a great country that failure is a part of learning. It's a character building moment. And you can make mistakes and get back up the next day and start all over. I mean, this country is built for entrepreneurship, capital investment.
So it's all about resilience.
Yeah, you have to, yeah, you can't be thin-skinned. But I mean, you're passing by here. We were just passing by some homes. Not all those people inherited that money. They earned it. And some of them earned it in their lifetime. And, you know, if you talk to someone all day, oh, I'm a success, you're not going to learn anything from them, and they're probably telling you a story. Ask them where they failed and what they learned from it and how it built their character.
Yeah, and how they came back on the feet again.
And there again, it's a learning process. It's a character building moment. You know, if you can build a loyal team, life's going to be easier for you.
Absolutely.
Do your research. SelectUSA.gov. Learn about the innovation zones. You know, do the research.
People usually tend to trust people that are close to them, but not necessarily educated on the topic. So let's say I want to invest in artificial intelligence today, and I'm going to ask my wife, shall I or I shall not? I trust her, but...
If you don't listen to her, you're going to be in trouble.
Oh yeah, for sure. But for the different reasons.
Well, how are you going to pick which firm you want to invest in? How are you going to look at their stock reports?
Right.
And you know that whatever they put on the paper is PR. So you're going to have to get to know the board individually, or you're going to have to get somebody that knows that board.
If I'm going to ask my friends, their opinion is only as objective as the knowledge or experience is. You mentioned doing the research, right? How would you go about the research besides the government website?
I would definitely go back and have a conversation with Angela, Melinda, or Belinda. Those are the
Alright.
three that I would trust.
So you would start your research with the experts,
Correct.
and then
I
look
mean,
into
there's still
crystal
that
ball.
gut feeling, okay, but I would definitely talk with somebody that I know, that I have a relationship with, and that I trust.
Would you hire an external advisor?
If there was something that I couldn't understand, there's nothing wrong with
Give me an
having
example.
input.
Let's say AI,
Well, you said
artificial
okay,
intelligence.
artificial intelligence. If there's company A, company B, what's their projection? Is their projection accurate? You know, where did they come up with their projection from? And there's nothing wrong with getting outside advice.
So pretty much you're talking about the diligence process, which is made by private equity firms. They check your balance sheets, they check your cash flow, they check the management's, they check everything before they invest. And by the way, this is more detailed and thorough when some might argue with me, but when you check in the publicly owned companies, the bookkeeping is kind of, it's straightforward, but you can deliver it in many different ways. Where you're talking about the private funds, private companies, they pretty much depend, that's the oxygen, they depend on it. So they have to do a great job, not good job, but great job to research the company and pretty much to dissect into molecules to see if the risk is minimized.
Well, there again, there's also the character of the people that run the business and own the business.
Right.
And that you're not going to see on a printed form.
I think we kind of covered a lot of territory here during this half an hour interview.
Well, Pasha, I'm going to ask you a question.
Please, by all means.
What is the #1 country to invest in?
What do you want from your investment?
What other country provides the opportunity America does?
Pretty much any country can provide an opportunity for investment.
I'm trying to get you to say the United States.
Yeah, I get that, and I'm really, yeah, but you need to rephrase the question and ask me something like, if you would invest into US, which...
Okay. As someone who has lived here and enjoyed the success of America, how would you encourage others to invest their money here?
So first of all, it's people. The people that surround me, people like yourself, Robert, Melinda, Belinda, and Angela, and many others to whom we have access today, who can help us to really evaluate and go into the nitty-gritty of the deal itself. I don't like to invest in public markets for many different reasons, because the control level, it's so minimal. If you want a safe and headache-free investment, just invest in the index. But the return is, you can keep your money pretty much according to the inflation. But to make your money like 10 times, 20 times, some of the funds deliver 180% a year, like Renaissance Fund in 2008. But the problem with them that they're not taking any new money on.
So you prefer the private equity
I
firms?
definitely prefer the private equity more over the venture funds, because venture funds, you have to really trust the team. When you talk about private equity, you can look in the financials, you can look at the money pretty much. So yeah, I would stay on the safer side, go to the funds with professionals who already have some track record of where they invested, how they do their due diligence process, and what they've done before, where they've been. If they're entrepreneurial people, that's plus for them, because you have to take the risk. Anyway.
We'll close this segment with both of us saying, America is open for business and your investments are welcome. You ready?
America is open for business and your investments are welcome.
Got it. Thank you, Pasha.
Thank you, Robert. That was a real delight, and cheers to that. I hope I close our first deal by the end of the 2020.